This evening, President Granger is tight-lipped on his choice for GECOM chairman. Minister Keith Scott launches an occupational safety campaign. Government of Guyana renews its effort to fight human trafficking. GTU objects to parking meters in school zones. In the region, in St. Lucia, Prime Minister Alan Chastanet stands by his man defending his appointed finance senator's action to go to the police. And internationally, would you ever spend $100 million US for something that lasts 1 minute? That's the cost of Trump's inauguration, and several corporations are ready to pay that cost.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Rivalt Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Headline News is streaming live on our YouTube channel, as well as our website, safetvguyana.com. Join us. Head of State President David Granger on Wednesday said he will not make a final decision on the GECOM chairmanship until full and meaningful consultations with the opposition leader is completed as required by the Constitution. Headline News senior reporter Andrew Weeks reports.
Speaking to journalists on the sidelines on Wednesday morning, President David Granger said he does not intend to rush the process of GECOM chairmanship.
I'm a man of great patience. I mean, this is a constitutional matter, it's important to Guyana, so I'm not rushing, and I don't want to bring the process to an end without both sides being satisfied, and the public, of course, being satisfied.
When questioned if he intends to meet with the opposition leader Barry Jagdeo on the issue, President Granger said that he has met with Mr. Jagdeo before and has no problem meeting with him again, because Mr. Jagdeo is seeking clarification on his position to reject the first list of nominees, and that clarification will be provided to him today through the Attorney General Basil Williams. When asked if he has in his mind a judge to be GECOM chairperson, President Granger said,
No, I don't have any prejudices or preconditions. I am waiting for the process to work, but what I expected in the first instance, that the list would have been sufficiently balanced to allow me to make that choice. But I don't have any name in the back of my mind or the front of my mind.
Opposition leader Barry Jagdeo had wrote to the president last week seeking a meeting on the issue after the president rejected his first list of nominees for the GECOM post, pointing out that the list of persons were unacceptable. Jagdeo and the PPP mounted a public relations campaign on the issue and believed that the president should have picked someone from the first list because all other former presidents who were faced with the choice did so from the list. President David Granger wants Mr. Jagdeo to submit a new list that is in keeping with the constitutional requirement for the job of GECOM chairman. The Constitution requires the nominee to be persons who are serving as a judge, served as a judge, or qualified to be a judge, or person who are fit and proper. Now, former PPC President Donald Ramotar called on President David Granger to go through the list sent by the opposition leader and choose a name instead of calling the list unacceptable. In response, the President Granger lashed out at the former President Donald Ramotar and said,
I think the former president, should observe the convention in some other countries and not try to comment on current political matters. He had his chance.
The opposition leader had also threatened that he will request the Caribbean Court of Justice to interpret the law. But even though the opposition leader's list did not include any judges or persons qualified for that position, Mr. Jagdeo said the list contained persons who are fit and proper for the job. The president then said all he saw was a list of 6 names. Andrew Weeks reporting for Channel 2 Headline News.
Thanks, Andrew. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu broke his silence on the painting of the Ministry of the Presidency in green. In this clip, you'll hear why the Prime Minister feels green is not a bad thing after all. He was addressing those gathered at the launch of the Nand Prasad Group of Companies' $100 million innovative and development-friendly green energy system. the first company to have 100% solar power in Guyana.
And more recently, I attended a function at the Textile University, and I was presented or I accepted a certificate on behalf of President Granger, and that referred to him as the green innovator. And so yesterday I read in the newspaper that someone was commenting on the Ministry of the Presidency, the Office of the President, where the Prime Minister's office is located as well, under the umbrella of the Ministry of the Presidency, that it was being painted in the color green, and that seems to be an objection. I can tell you what the gentleman in India said to me. He said, "I love your country. I just love the greenness of it. 85% of your country is green, and I love it." We're in Guyana. Here in Guyana, we are complaining about painting a building green, and we seem to be embarrassed by that. But we are loved because we have 85% of our country is populated by virgin rainforests, which makes us a lungs to help the world to survive. And coming back to India, not in a very way, in a negative way, but in a factual way, that when you pass through New Delhi and you pass through Lucknow, you have to constantly, if you're outside, reach for your kerchief to put on your nose, because you have pollution. The same in Beijing, the same in Shanghai. And anyone who would come here having passed through countries where you have high pollution, they will tell you that you are blessed with fresh air that they wish they would have in their own countries. So that the story of Guyana being linked to this revolution, the solar revolution, has to do with our potential, has to do with who we are.
Minister within the Ministry of Social Protection, Keith Scott, and team visited Namilco National Milling Company of Guyana on Saturday as part of his occupational health and safety campaign. Andrew Weeks reports.
Minister Keith Scott kick-started the year 2017 with steam, visiting one of the top manufacturing companies in the country, Namilco. At Namilco, the minister was pleased with the way the milling company had its house in order.
When he came in, I was impressed when he saw the amount of accident, 3 days downstairs, and it's chasing after the record of 178. I congratulate you on that. I've never seen that in any other industrial business space, and that is a very good encouragement for workers to aim at. Secondly, it tells me that the occupational health and safety consciousness is alive and well in this place. I don't know if I haven't seen all the signs yet. As during the course of the morning, we get to see whether you have first aid kit, whether you have your signs up, whether you have your safety committee in place, whether you have safety committee meetings. So because we take occupational health and safety very seriously.
According to the company's managing director, who oversees the operation at Namilco, he told the minister this. Listen.
We don't have to prepare for a visit. You can come at any time, and what you see today is what you're going to see tomorrow and the next day. We don't stage anything just to showcase, the company per se.
Namilco, in terms of staff turnover, is very low. The company has a union, and recently they had negotiated a 21% wage increase.
Companies give that kind of increase. You can't look at the percentages, you have to look at the percentage and what the present salary is. It could be a very low salary and the percentage might look high.
Maybe 50%.
Yeah. Over the years we've been paying our workers reasonably well, above I would say, above not many other companies, but we've been on par. But, we have to keep the wage structure level because.
When it comes to pregnancy, the managing director told the visiting team that they pay serious attention to it as well as other labor matters.
In every situation, there are explanations and there's rationale for why we do things. We don't send home people because they're pregnant. There are lots of ladies in this company who's been pregnant many times over, and they're still working here. The reason why we would send home an employee is not because of pregnancy, but because of their work ethics or because of not complying with the rules. And that applies to everybody. So we don't discriminate. Right? I know they probably come to labor. I won't know when they go to labor unless labor comes back to us.
Yes.
All right. Because there is a due process that we go through. All right. When employees have issues, we go through that process. So if somebody comes from the labor to me and I'm not aware of the incident, I will say to labor, I can't talk to you unless the employee, first of all, comes to us. And that's how we do things.
Minister Keith Scott thanked the company for being so accommodating and told them to keep the good work up.
So it's in all of us' interest to see that Guyana has a stable work environment so that when they go to Guyana, they can boast that big, middle, and small employers are happy at the working there, that they have a wonderful relationship with the Ministry of Social Protection and the workers themselves are basically happy.
In our next report, we will tell you what happened when Minister Keith Scott and team visited Banks DIH Limited. Andrew Weeks reporting for Channel 2 Headline News.
Thanks, Andrew. The Guyana Teachers Union is objecting to parking meters in school zones, calling it a burden on teachers' meager salary. Headline News senior reporter Andrew Weeks spoke with GTU president via telephone and filed this report.
With parking meters being placed within the business districts of the city of Georgetown, Geo Parking Meter Company may not have considered that many schools within the business district of Georgetown. Guyana Teachers Union President Colin Light says school zones for parking meters are not allowed.
Well, the reason being, taking into consideration teachers' small salary and having to pay to park in order to go to work, we don't feel that it's feasible. It's not something that our teachers can afford. Those who are driving, for that matter, we feel that the parking meters can be placed outside of the school area, which would allow the teachers to, utilize the space provided. Because many of the school compounds don't have necessary space for them to be parking in the compound. So means that our teachers would have to either take public transportation or put a $25,000 bill at the end of the month. So,
when asked if he had spoken to the mayor of the city of Georgetown, Mr. Light said,
we have written them seeking a meeting to discuss this very important matter. Since we feel that there are other areas that the public utilizes that, the meters can be best placed in those areas. We're not objecting to parking meters, but just to place them the zone where our teachers would have to utilize the space to park their vehicles to go to work.
where have you seen the parking meter park in your school area?
I think it's in front of St. Rose's and St. Stanislaus, I think. There's that two that comes to mind.
But there are other areas where the schools, but there are other areas where schools are going to be in contravention with the parking meters, like Bishop High School, Queen's College, among other private schools, like the New Ghana School, etc. The meeting, Light says, with the mayor and parking meter team will discuss just that.
So we feel that, there are other areas where they can better place. And we are already struggling with a meager salary for our important teachers, and we're asking them to pay to go to work. But just the fact that we have noticed and our teachers brought it to our attention, that meters are placed within their school zones. There we raise it to the media to prevent our objection to such kind of move.
It is not made known to us how soon the meeting between the GTU, Geoparking, and the Mayor and City Council of Georgetown will be. This newscast called to the Mayor's office for a follow-up and was told she was in a meeting with the Minister of Communities. We'll keep you posted. Andrew Weeks reporting for Channel 2 Headline News.
Thanks, Andrew. Coming up on Headline News after the break, Guyana declares war on human trafficking, and East Coast woman celebrates her special day.
Fly always. Always something new.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princeton Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Warren Welcome, 37 years old, of Port Kaituma Waterfront, was today remanded to prison by Chief Magistrate Ann McLennan when he answered to the charge that on January 15th, while under the influence of alcohol, stabbed his stepbrother Stephen Bell to the neck over a $5,000 light bill. Welcome was not required to plead to the charge. He will remain on remand until February 7th, when the matter will be transferred to the Matthews Ridge Magistrates Court. The police prosecutor objected to bail, citing the victim's current state receiving treatment at the hospital. The government of Guyana has declared an all-out assault on human trafficking and will be stepping up measures to fight the scourge, with scores of police officers, diplomats, government officials, and administrators gathered at the Police Training College. The government on Wednesday morning launched the National Plan of Action for the Prevention and Response to Trafficking in Persons. President David Granger, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana Perry Holloway, Public Security Minister Kemraj Ramjatan, and Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali spoke. We now bring you the highlights of this event. Take a look.
This ceremony today is particularly important to me. I recall that as leader of the opposition in the National Assembly, I brought a motion on Wednesday, the 22nd of May, 2013, 4 years ago, calling for the establishment of a commission of inquiry to investigate the crime of trafficking in persons. I urged the government of the day to lift the veil on trafficking in persons and to stop denying that the crime was taking place, denying that it needed to be eliminated. I added then that denial of the existence of trafficking in persons in Guyana makes matters worse, and I quote, "There's a syndrome of dodging the problem and pretending that the persons who are being trafficked have voluntarily entered into a state of prostitution." I told the National Assembly then that trafficking in persons was a form of modern-day slavery. I warned that trafficking was a crime of international jurisdiction and culprits could be prosecuted for it in any part of the world. That motion, titled Appointment of a Commission of Inquiry to Investigate the Incidents of Trafficking in Persons in Guyana, was approved by the National Assembly. But to our country's shame, it was never assented to and it was never implemented by the national president at the time. However, things were to change. I was sworn in as president on the 16th of May 2015, 2 years after. And I immediately changed the name of the Ministry of Human Services to that of the Ministry of Social Protection. I also changed the name of the Ministry of Home Affairs to that of the Ministry of Public Security. As you can see, they sit to the left and right of me at the table, advisedly. I did so because I wanted to emphasize the state's responsibility for the protection of its vulnerable citizens and the security of the public. And neither of the two ministers have ever questioned the titles of their new ministries. Those ministries, I'm happy to say, are before you in the forefront of the struggle to ensure that trafficking in persons is eliminated.
We in the U.S. government are very proud of Guyana's improved ranking in our 2016 Trafficking in Person report. Guyana moved up from the watch list to Tier 2. This improvement recognizes the efforts of the government, the TIP task force, the TIP unit, prosecutors, and the judiciary in combating modern-day slavery. I just wanted to take a minute to talk about the numbers that the analytical team has put together, and first of all to congratulate them on doing that, because if you don't know the situation and you can't monitor your efforts, it's very hard to see if what you're doing is making a difference. And I think we do share the assessment of the analytic team that the increase you see there, while it on a percentage basis looks very high, is likely due to increased awareness and reporting. That said, I will tell you that trafficking in persons is probably one of the most underreported crimes in the world, in any country, not just Guyana, the United States, or wherever. So while it may look like we're talking about 100 people, I suspect, just like in every other country in the world, we're talking about many, many more people. So I definitely want everyone to stay focused and to know that this is a real problem that we all need to address. We are very impressed by the government's action plan, the implementation of which will serve as a guide to even further improvements in the anti-trafficking in persons effort. As always, the embassy stands prepared, and even anxious, I would say, to assist the government in the core areas of trafficking in persons.
Too often we hear stories of minors who are left in the care of family members and become victims to this criminal trade. Too often, others find themselves trapped through debt and are forced to work against their will in conditions of modern day bondage and are deceived into a life of suffering. We must say enough, no more to these acts.
It is a reflection of how popular is the concern about this scourge of human trafficking yet another scourge in our society, which troubles us here in Guyana and in our larger world. It is too a reflection of the desire of wanting to know and participate in the fight to stamp it out. I also want to thank this morning members of the task force, coordinated by Mr. Prophet from the Ministry of Public Security, for managing to make this launch possible this early in the year and in the environment of very many challenges. A thank you must go out to the Finance Ministry too for allocating the sum, as mentioned by Amna just now, of $12 million to public security and the other ministries for this year's activities as planned. I do understand, Amna, that there are some other monies in your ministry in respect of actions and exercises to be taken. I also believe too, and that is why probably we have seated Mr. Holloway there, that lots more funding is going to come through bilateral support and multilateral support from our friends and allies internationally. I should say already Interpol only last week informed the ministry that they successfully arranged 5 police officers to travel to Trinidad for training. They may be on their way there as I speak here. Thanks to all of our partners who have and will support us. It is intended for this year, 2017 and 2018 period, to be one where the task force on trafficking in persons begins to wrest control of the situation in Guyana regarding the crime. It is acknowledged that there is no overnight solution. Therefore, patience is required. However, neglect cannot be tolerated, unquote. This plan for the next 2 years approaches this developing scourge in our society through a combination of efforts which are appropriately titled prevention, protection, prosecution, and partnership. This combination is not wholly original, but has seen successes in other countries. So it is but a continuation of our effort to initiate what is internationally accepted and combining that with investing in what is locally applicable.
Traffickers must be identified and prosecuted with the full force of the law. The fear of prosecution must serve as a deterrent against human trafficking. The United Nations General Assembly passed resolution, as you've heard, 68192, titled Improving the Coordination of Efforts Against Trafficking in Persons, on the 18th of December 2013. The resolution called on member states of the United Nations to address the social, economic, cultural, political, and other factors which make people vulnerable to trafficking. Guyana, as Minister Ali has said, seeks to provide a good life for all of its citizens. That good life includes protecting vulnerable citizens from the threat of servitude, the threat of sexual exploitation, and the threat of forced labor.
Aunt Iris of Bedford-Wacton on the east coast of Demerara celebrated her 100th birthday on Sunday. Andrew Weeks reports that Minister of Social Protection performing her first official duty, having been appointed as the subject minister, was there, as well as Regional Chairman of Region 4, among others.
The day was filled with many villagers from near and far who came to wish Auntie Iris on her 100th birthday. Regional Chairman of Region 4, Genevieve Allen, who shared some memories of her childhood days of the Centenarian, said,
I grew up in this community, and it took us a while to realize that Aunt Iris was not a born Baronian. Those of us, and me, when we were going to school, we felt that she was born and bred here in Bedford-Wacton. And so when I looked at her history, I recognize that she was born on the 14th of January 1917, and so we're celebrating her birthday on her birthday.
For those of you who have your history intact would know Aunt Iris would have been born 5 years after the Titanic would have sunk. That's in 1912. Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali said, God has spared Auntie Iris's life for such a time as this, and she blessed her with many more years of life.
You know, I feel honored, and I'll tell you why. Aunt Iris is from a village called Number 10 Village, West Coast, Berbice, region number 5. And I am from a neighboring village called the Edward Village, West Coast, Berbice, region 5. And so I feel very, very proud to be here.
More than being proud, this is Minister Ali's first official function since being appointed as Minister of Social Protection, who was also the former Minister of Social Cohesion.
And I feel humbled, I feel real good to be here because Aunt Iris and I come from the same region, and here am I sharing with you my first official duty at this celebratory function. I want to say to you that it is not easy to reach 100 and looking like Aunt Iris. She must have done the right things. She must have walked the road of the Lord.
The minister also had some advice to the gathering. Listen.
I want to urge all of you present here today to take a leaf out of Aunt Iris's book and probably talk with her and find out what were some of the things she did during her 100 years. You know, when I came in, I asked her first of all if she was in good health. And she said yes. But you know, we have our ups and downs. Some days we are okay and some days we are not. So, to come thus far, it is commendable, and we must find some time and talk with her.
In the end, Auntie Iris cut the cake with the help of Minister Ali, her family and friends. Minister Ali also presented a huge hamper to Auntie Iris on her 100th birthday. The regional chairman also presented a photograph framed in gold to the Centenarian. Andrew Wicks reporting for Channel 2 Headline News.
Thanks, Andrew. And might I say, she doesn't look a day over 50. We wish you many more years, Aunt Iris. Coming up after the break, our regional and international news.
Fly always. Always something new.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
In news from the region now. In St. Lucia, Prime Minister Alan Chastanet is standing behind his hand-picked minister in the Ministry of Finance, Senator Dr. Urbaldis Raymond, who is involved in a nude picture blackmail scandal. By Prime Minister Chastanet's account, Dr. Raymond has, quote, done the right thing, end quote, to report the matter to police. The office of the Prime Minister gave no indication on the fate of Dr. Raymond in the cabinet.
Koshabi Alexander, the teen suspect charged for allegedly attempting to blackmail Senator Dr. Ubaldes Raymond, minister in the Ministry of Finance, reportedly posted EC $10,000 bail on January 13th. The case involves viral nude photographs purporting to be that of the finance minister and alleged demands for cash. The man at the center of the controversy, during a no-questions press briefing, affirmed that he, quote, will not be bullied as police investigations continue. What is unclear is Senator Raymond's fate as a government minister and his place in the Alan Chastanet-led cabinet. On January 16th, Prime Minister Chastanet did address the controversy. He made it clear that his hand-picked finance minister, quote, has done the right thing, end quote.
It's under investigation. Right, so I mean, the fact is somebody's been arrested, and that we will wait to see what the outcome and how information unfolds. So, you know, the minister in question has done the right thing, and he's gone to the police, and let's see where that goes. But at this point, there's nothing else I can say other than that.
A local human rights lobby, United and Strong, has taken up the issue. United and Strong is questioning the perceived expediency from accusation to arrest.
In less than 48 hours, apparently this young lady was arrested. She was charged, taken before the courts, and bailed for an exorbitant $10,000. We're concerned because I think too long you have young persons who've been in remand waiting for court cases, a number of unsolved crimes in this country. And so we're concerned that in terms of how quickly this sort of justice was dished out at this young lady, apparently if you have a direct line to the judicial system, or if you're in a position of power, it seems that justice is quickly dished out to you as quote-unquote victim.
More screen-captured chat logs, allegedly between the finance minister and a female, in addition to other photos with Kashabi Alexander, are also making the rounds on social media. Rihani Isidore, HTS News Force.
And internationally, the president-elect Donald Trump's inauguration will see corporations and heavy hitters open their wallets to close to $200 million. That money will be spent for an oath of office that takes about a minute. ABC News reports.
And we are back with new details on the Trump inauguration. It's breaking records for money raised from rich donors. The big question now, what are they getting in return? Our chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross, is on the case at the Trump Hotel in Washington. Good morning, Brian.
Well, good morning, George. Donald Trump is certainly no stranger to producing and starring in his own TV reality shows. But what's going to happen here on Friday does not compare. It's meant to be historic, grander, classier, and without a doubt, much more expensive, close to some $200 million. Much as he did with his beauty pageants and his NBC program, The Apprentice. You're fired. The president-elect is reported to be personally involved in the tiniest of details for his inauguration. American taxpayers, as they have for years, will pay for the official part of the program, which stand-ins were practicing this week. Some $115 million for the platform in front of the Capitol, along with security and other trappings of power. But another $90 to $100 million, much more than ever before, will come from private money, corporations and the wealthy, who can choose from the Trump menu of inauguration packages, including tickets to an exclusive candlelight dinner, a concert and fireworks, and an inaugural ball.
They wanted $1 million for these 8 tickets. You could buy for $500,000, you can get 4 tickets, but I needed 8. So I had to send him $1 million. So of the $90 million, I'm $1 million of that.
Casino owner Phil Ruffin was Trump's business partner in Las Vegas and is a vice chair of the inaugural committee.
We're staying at the new Trump Hotel. $18,000 a night, guaranteed 5 nights, so it's pricey.
Indeed, the place to stay for anyone courting the next president is Trump's own hotel, just down Pennsylvania Avenue from the White House. Already the bar scene here jammed with Washington's new A-list.
These are not necessarily people who know where the fork and the knife go at the dinner table, but they know how to get things done.
All for a president who initially campaigned saying he did not need special interest in their money, that he wanted to drain the swamp.
I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money. I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care. I'm really rich.
But now Trump's inaugural committee is taking huge contributions from some of the biggest corporations that will need a good relationship with the next president. Big banks seeking to limit government regulations, corporations which want approval for giant mergers, and America's billionaire elite like Phil Ruffin.
We'll know a lot of people there, people that we've done business with and people that we know. So I'm looking forward to it.
For now, the names of those private donors are being kept secret. Under the law, there's no limit to how much they can give, and their names do not have to be divulged for at least 3 months, George.
And Brian, that $100 million in private money, probably more than they need to cover the number of people that are coming to the inaugural. So what happens with the excess?
Whatever is left over will be given to charity, and as you know, Mr. Trump always likes to bring his projects in on time and under budget, George.
Okay, Brian Ross, thanks very much. And today on The View, Tony Award winner Jennifer Holliday is going to discuss her decision not to perform at the inauguration.
And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook, YouTube, and SafeTVGuyana.com. You can also tune in at 6:30 tomorrow morning for a rebroadcast, and Thursday evening at 7 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes, and you have a blessed day.